prospect called up, a new Flyers backup goalie, and a big weekend ahead for the Philadelphia Flyers. I'm Charlie O'Connor with PHLY Sports here with your Flyers post-practice updates from the Flyers Training Center in Voorhees, New Jersey. Some legitimate news today for the Philadelphia Flyers at practice as they prepare for their Friday night game in Washington, D.C. against the Washington Capitals, one of the teams chasing them down for one of the final spots in the Metropolitan Division playoffs. Ronnie Attard called up for the Philadelphia Flyers. Jamie Drysdale, we already knew, was week to week with his shoulder injury, so we knew he wasn't coming back anytime soon. We did not know, however, that the Flyers would be calling up a prospect, Ronnie Attard, who was in our top 10 in our top 20 Flyers prospect rankings at allphly.com. For diehards, check that out if you haven't already. But myself and Alex Abriard, we're pretty high on Ronnie Attard. He's on the older side, 24 years old, going on 25, but he has a really interesting, unique skill set. He's big, he's physical, he's aggressive both with and without the puck. He has a big shot. He's still a bit rough around the edges. He can make some bad reads, be a little over-aggressive in terms of taking himself out of the play. But if he can put it all together, he could be a really, really unique 6'3", attacking, right-handed shooting defenseman, maybe in that 4-5 role. So he's an intriguing guy, and it's intriguing to see him up with the team. The Flyers did run pairs today at practice, but it wasn't clear by the pairs whether Attard is actually going to play. They kind of cycled everybody through. If anything, it kind of looked like John Tortorella might do an 11-7 again with Attard in the lineup, and maybe just depend upon how well Attard plays in the first few shifts to see if he gets 3 minutes or if he gets 10 minutes. We'll see how it plays out. John Tortorella was not willing to guarantee that Attard would be in the lineup. What he said was that he wanted to bring someone on this mini trip. Obviously, the Flyers are going to as DC, but it's only a one-gamer. They come back on Saturday to play the Ottawa Senators at the Wells Fargo Center, but he wanted a seventh defenseman for this trip. He asked Danny Briere, Keith Jones, and the AHL coaching staff down in Lehigh Valley, or over in Lehigh Valley, I guess, who deserved it the most. And the answer was Ronnie Attard, who, based on my conversation with Flyers Assistant General Manager Brent Flair for that prospect series that we ran last week, Attard has been playing really well in their eyes since about the midpoint of December. So they felt like Attard deserves it. They felt like Attard deserves to be up at the NHL level. He has played at the NHL level briefly. This is his first look for quite a while. Didn't really get a look at all last year. So we'll see how he does if he gets into a game. My guess is that if you're going to call him up, you might as well play him. And I do wonder if part of the reason for this call, not something that John Tortorella is going to say, of course, but there are still rumors flying around Sean Walker. Sean Walker could be traded at or before the March 8th trade deadline. If Sean Walker is moved and Jamie Drysdale continues to be out for an extended period of time and Rasmus Dahlin continues to be out for an extended period of time, Ronnie Attard is the logical guy kind of to slide in to that Sean Walker vacated role. This might be them giving Attard kind of a little audition to see if he might be ready to take on that role at the NHL level in the midst of a playoff race if they do indeed pull the trigger on a Sean Walker trade. Attard, we talked to him after practice. He's obviously very excited for his shot. He said the biggest change in his play starting in mid-December when the Flyers started liking his play more, his focus on being not just tough to play against, but his quote, miserable to play against. So we'll see if he can do that, if he does indeed get into the lineup on Friday. Seems like that's still up in the air. But based on the combos they ran, it does seem like there's a chance they could go with 7 defensemen against the Washington Capitals, a very big game. The other change, this probably won't have an impact on Friday's game, but it very well could have an impact on Saturday's game. Flyers made a swap at backup goalie. Cal Petersen was placed on waivers yesterday. He ain't gonna be claimed. They put it that way. With his contract, with the way he played, he's played for the last few seasons, but with the way he played on Sunday, no one's gonna pick up Cal Petersen. So when we get that news, probably by the time you watch this clip, it will become apparently clear that Cal Petersen did clear waivers and will be sent down to the minors. However, Felix Sandström was called up today. Felix Sandström was at practice today. And given the fact that it's a Friday, Saturday back-to-back, my assumption is Felix Sandström probably will play against the Ottawa Senators on Saturday. Don't know for sure, but given the fact that Friday's game against the Capitals is a divisional rivalry, the Capitals are chasing down the Flyers for that third playoff spot in the Metro, My guess is Sam Ersson gets that start. So if you're not going to play him back-to-back, Felix Sandström probably gets the Saturday game against the weaker Ottawa team. And we asked John Tortorella after the game, why make the move? Now, look, everybody has a pretty good idea of why they made the move. Cal Petersen was terrible against the Pittsburgh Penguins. I said after the game on Sunday that the Flyers simply cannot allow Cal Petersen to start another game after how poorly he performed against the Penguins. John Tortorella agreed. John Tortorella was straight up asked, was there any thought to giving Petersen another start after the way Sunday played out? One word answer from John Tortorella, no. No thought. He did point out something, and this is a fair point for Tortorella. He said, look, Petersen and Sandstrom's numbers in the AHL, pretty similar, and he's not wrong. Petersen actually had the better save percentage, 890 to Felix Sandstrom's 882. Felix Sandstrom averaged slightly better goals against average and a significantly better win-loss record. I personally prefer save percentage as a stat over win-loss record because, in my view, win-loss record has more to do with the skaters than the goalie. Save percentage is probably the best one if you're just evaluating the goalie. However, neither goalie stats are very good, and maybe Sandstrom gave up a few goals in garbage time in wins that made his numbers seem worse than Petersen's. Basically, what Tortorella was saying, though, was, look, it's not like this was a no-brainer that Sandstrom was better than Petersen. If anything, Petersen's numbers, by save percentage, a little bit better than Sandstrom's. However, it's not like Petersen was blowing Sandstrom out of the water. The way Tortorella positioned it was this. We gave Petersen a shot. Now we're giving Felix his shot. Petersen did not take advantage of that opportunity. He goes down. They're going to give Felix Sandstrom a look. They're going to see what Felix Sandstrom can provide, if he can maybe be that quality backup the rest of the way to Sam Ersson. Tortorella confirmed again today, he said this earlier in the week, the backup goalie is going to get about 4 or 5 starts the rest of the way, including this start likely this weekend in this back-to-back. So it's not like 4 or 5 bad starts is necessarily going to kill the Flyers, but you would rather your backup goalie give you a chance to win, which is something that Cal Petersen did not do on Sunday. So now Felix Sandstrom will get his opportunity. The interesting question, though, is what happens if Felix Sandstrom does not take advantage of the opportunity. Do the Flyers stick with Sandstrom? Do they give Petersen another shot? Do they look to maybe make a waiver claim for the next halfway decent NHL goalie who gets sent down to the minors? Do they look to maybe make a trade? I don't know, truthfully. If they made a trade, it would probably be giving up a late-round pick. There might not even be a guy like that available. It'll be very interesting to see. I think the Flyers obviously are hoping that Felix Sandstrom can be at least decent. He doesn't have to be amazing, but just has to be better than what Petersen provided on Sunday, and then they'll just roll with him the rest of the way. But it's worth noting that it's unclear how Felix Sandstrom is going to play. Those were really the 2 big pieces of news today for practice. The other big piece of news, a predictable one, but still news, still no Travis Konechny. It doesn't look optimistic that he's going to be able to play, at least on Friday, but my guess is not on Saturday either. If John Tortorella's comments after Tuesday night's game are any indication, it seems like Torts is unclear how long Konechny's going to be out. Didn't seem like he was expecting Konechny to be back in the immediate near future. The fact that he's still not in practice today speaks to that. I do have a Sean Couturier story coming likely later tonight for diehards. Spoke with John Tortorella today about the fact that Sean Couturier, the new captain, getting used as a 4th-line center on Tuesday night, and his minutes are dropping. What's wrong with Coots? I'll be diving deep into that on allphly.com. Take a look at that. Aside from that story, the only other update that I have coming for you is basically just some tweaks in the lines. We did see today Joel Farabee and Owen Tippett more or less switch spots. Joel Farabee is now up with Scott Lawton and Tyson Forster, whereas Owen Tippett is now with Morgan Frost and Bobby Brink. We'll see how long that lasts. We'll see even if the Flyers go 11-7 again, as I theorize with Ronnie Attard now up with the team. But there's a lot of questions going into Friday's game. What we do know is it's a big game. The Capitals are chasing the Flyers for that 3rd spot in the Metro, and the Flyers need to keep their distance from the Capitals. I'm Charlie O'Connor with PHLY Sports. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
We all silly like the mayor.